with absolute control. And that's why we're tethered doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature, to be natural, and this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
One, two. If you're in the chat, could you just say whether you can hear me or not? Anybody? Can you hear me? Am I? Anybody? Can you hear me? Hello? One, two, one, two. Cool. We'll leave that where it is then. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy widow woman whose brother wears all over her head. That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I've told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like soul. Literal vampire pot-belly goblins. My spirit gets close to that evil and I hear it go high, high, high. Real self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, man. I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. Oh, oh, oh. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. Woo. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife. And then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet. For those of you who are early, thank you for being here. We'll be starting at about 9 o'clock. We're scheduled for 9 o'clock, but who the fuck knows? Never expect anything to come on time. Or ever. In the meantime, please enjoy this, whatever the fuck it is. When it starts. Right now. Come on. Shit will get off the pot, mate. Come on. Start playing. Things are going to get hectic. We've got minge coming out of her arse here. Come on. You can't handcuff the wind, mate. Come on. When you're ready. Can't even get the fucking music playing at the start of that fucking thing. Oh, here we go. Go. I've got a lemon disease. Yeah, that was it. That's okay. That was it. That was the song. All of it right there. In my head, everything right. All right. Okay, so just it's loading up about 3 seconds at a time. So, whatever. Of course. Let's just hope it can handle it. This is yeah. Well, don't spoilers, Lewis. Don't insider information. Fucking, it's what took Nick Leeson down. My lyrics in my head all the time. I made a lot of songs. I don't know how many I made, but I made a lot of songs. And I write every day. I put my orange 4-inch door into storage. People say the word orange doesn't rhyme with anything. From the hi-hat to the snare to the vocals, I love beats and rhymes. Just the craft of it. I was in the rap Olympics, rapping and singing and dancing now. I am blind. Something about the pen and paper. But my orange door, it's a storage and it's pouring the joy when people say the word.
Orange doesn't rhyme with anything. I put my orange door into storage and it's pouring the storage.
God, it's weird seeing me in colour. Where's the black and white one? Is that it? Oh no, that's not it. 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 That's that was it. Oh, that was better. That's better. Stop talking, mate. Anyway. Hello. Good evening to those of you who are here. It's a pleasure to have y'all. We will. I'll be start. If you're wondering what the title of the stream is about, that will be explained in due course. But someone's already. I love it when it always happens. I swear they're doing it on purpose. As soon as I appear on camera, audience numbers drop. They come here for the pre-show music, and then that's it. Fair play to them. I don't blame them. You know, how can you? How can you knock it? So, yeah. No one chatting. Okay, good. As always, this is great engagement, people. This is why I'm getting nowhere. It's not just that. It is largely all your fault. That's all I'm saying. That's better. Right. So who we got in here? Right. So, you just got home from work and Dick is live. Well, I mean, there you go, mate. I mean, clearly, obviously, that's the reason I'm going live now. Is because I thought and that's how much I care for you people. You know, it wouldn't feel right, would it? You know. So, So what's been going on? Anything? No? Good. Yes, I was at. Yes, Sir Gaston. Like, don't expect John to be here. Like, Nazis without aptitude is not coming back. I know every time I post a picture of me and John together, right? People go, "Oh, it's coming." No, it's not happening. Right? It never happened. You had to be there. You were there. You were so lucky, right? But no, he got married this weekend, and he invited me again. So there you go, and that's why that happened. That's why I had the suit on, you know. Yes, just so everyone knows, I was checking my channel demographics, the analytics earlier, and as of today, officially, after 15 years ploughing on YouTube, this Dick Coughlan, my channel, is 100% male, according to all of the Google Analytics. 100%. All the women have fucked off. Right? This is the manliest channel. This is the most alpha, giga chad, fucking, right? 100% male audience. Guy called Dick hosting it. What exactly, you know? Big bushy beard, minge coming out my arse, right? Exactly. You know, we're now. That's it. We've done it. You know? And it was me, right? The guy in a pink Taylor Swift t-shirt. Not fucking. Weren't any of that lot. Weren't any of those fuckers out there who tried desperately. No. Because you know why? Because women have to watch their videos because they have to debunk them. You know? Whereas my channel is basically like a sort of, you know, it's like, I wouldn't say incels, it's like just people who can't get laid and don't care anymore, you know. Stop saying dudes rock, Lewis. You need to get me on Fresh and Fit. I would not go on that fucking show. You could, I don't give a fuck whatever. I would just, I couldn't, right? I just could, I mean, I don't care what I don't care what it's because it's I'm not going to benefit from it. But for fuck's sake, I mean, How that guy, the one of, I don't know whether it's fresh or fit. I don't think either of them fit the bill. Neither of them look like they go, you know. So, you know, but the little one, the one that looks like a cross, but the one that looks like Kevin Hart has got in one of the teleportation pods from The Fly with a pug dog, right? That one, right? That video he uploaded of him talking about how he had a threesome with 3 women and him, right? That made sense. And then, even if I got 10,000 subs out of it, yeah, even if I got 10,000 subs out of it, right? Do you know why? Because that ain't shit, right? I don't want 10,000 cunts from their channel fucking coming over here. I'm barely struggling to fucking sit here and tolerate the people who do turn up and enjoy it. I don't want people who fucking... I don't even want people who might be on the fence between me and them. Anybody who watches their content and gets any actual value out of it, what would be the point in them watching this? What are they going to get from it? Nothing. No. It's like buying a hamster A Brief History of Time or something. It's just a waste of time. Sitting there with their fucking, they go, so we're two high value males with you know, sexual partners into the quadruple digits. Are you really quadruple digits? Really what, you fucked 4 people now, have you? Well, fuck it. I mean, who talks? I mean, wait, I'm sorry, but if you're a bloke and if you're a full grown adult man and you actually fucking you're one of those cunts who goes around. Yeah, and you have to try at some point, you know, insert into the conversation, along with other things, the exact number of women you've banged, because you think that makes you important, or you know, or anyone's supposed to care, right? It doesn't, right? You know, if you sit there and go, I was at a fucking gathering with some friends. There was this geezer there who was a friend of a friend, and he was one of those fuckers who bangs on and on about it. And he said to me. And he was saying, like, yeah, well, last year I had 250 one-night stands. To which I replied, wait, so you fucked 250 women and not one of them wanted to do it with you twice, right? Wow, you must suck a bit, right? And I could see his like soul, you know, dying. You know, I just see him like, you know, mew, and I was like, fuck one person 250 times, right? Then you'll be, you know, you might actually have some joy in your life. Right? Anyway, so yeah, fuck Fresh and Fit. I'm not going on that. For 10,000 subs, please. Have you not been paying attention to this channel's trajectory over the last 15 years? Right, in 2009, I had 35,000 subs. I'm now 5 channels later with exactly 1/10 of that audience, and people have the gall to call me a sub whore. Right. So hopefully, in another 15 years' time, I'll be here with 35 people. You know. Right. What is the time? Right, we'll give it. It's only 9:05. We've got a bit. So what's been on? I haven't even been paying attention to the news. What's been going on? Quality over quantity. What was that? No, it's not even quality anymore. It's not quality or quantity. You barely, you know, the last few months on this channel, you've barely got anything, and what you have got has been, you can't even call it half-assed, you know. Maybe if you add all the videos up over the course of the last year, you might get a whole arse out of it, but, you know. Plus, it seems a bit of a waste of time. To be honest, maybe I would have started trying to sort of like get me content production value up. But the problem is nowadays, everyone's videos are so fucking good in terms of like, you know, people start a channel and they're uploading fucking videos that, you know, you would have waited till you got 500,000 subs before you started putting that shit in. And to me, it's like, I'm never going to get to that. So why look, you know, just piss. You look shitter if you look like you're trying to be better, but you're not close. You're still not close. Whereas just keep it raw, keep it real. This is where the money is, mate. Right here. This little rectangle in this 16:9 slot here. This little hyphen that we have between birth and death. This is where the ad revenue kicks in, which I haven't earned a penny. You know, I worked this out the other day. I haven't earned a penny from. I've had no ads on my videos that I've earned a penny from since 2016. I can't even monetize me fucking. I don't have anything. I don't have fucking super chats. Right? Don't have them. Right? Because YouTube just went, oh, so what's the point? It's just taking up bandwidth. What do you mean I've got a neck mic? First of all, Lewis, it's called a lavalier mic or a lav mic. I'm not calling it that. It's a lavalier mic. Right? Secondly, the reason I've got it is because I need it, because if I don't have this, there'll be no sound whatsoever. Because the mic, all of my mics are fucked. Right? And that's it. So I got this thing here. And these aren't even that. I mean, this is a cheap one as it is, right? You can see a little bumblebee there. You can't tell, can you? No. I'm ahead of the curve in the, you know. No, I'm ahead. No, this is the thing. I'm ahead of the curve consistently when it comes to the people I'm making content about. Like people were saying, when are you doing an Andrew Tate video? And I'm like, I did it. I did it back in 2019 when no one knew who the fuck he was. I did covered it all there. You know, and that might sound great. I'm not trying to make myself sound like I'm brilliant, because it's actually a terrible thing. Because the thing about the internet and this sort of content is that it, you know, in order for, you know, success depends on keeping up with trends and, you know, riding the wave of relevancy. Well, that's no good if you're doing stuff 3 years before it's popular, you know. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I will say this: if you're not following Andrew Tate on Twitter, you should, because ever since his life started falling apart in the last 6 months, his Twitter feed is just fucking. It's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever read in my life. I cannot believe this geezer. You just sit there and you're just like, what is going on? Like, how did you think this was good? Like, you know, it's worse than fucking. Do you remember Adrian G? Do you remember his Twitter feed? Do you remember that fucking? I mean, it's like, it's bordering on that line where it's getting close to, like, you know, if this was a joke, right? Fair play, right? Right. So, Dick Coughlan's Misophonics Anonymous. What is that? Well, this is the sort of trial run of this first live stream is going to be me just doing this idea, a new sort of thing. It might be a podcast, might be a video, so don't fully know yet, right? But what does that mean? Misophonics. Now, I had to look that word up, right? Basically, ASMR, as you're all aware, very big popular genre on YouTube. You know, brain porn. The idea that, you know, soft, nice, you know, comforting, relaxing, or, you know, audio sounds and shit like that going to keeps nice and, you know, all that stuff. Well, obviously, as a joke, every video I make and every day, people say you should do ASMR, because obviously that's ridiculous. Why would I do ASMR? My content, you know, if you listen to my content, it's the exact opposite of ASMR. It could be, you know, it's not in the least bit relaxing. You couldn't chill to it. You couldn't study to it. You couldn't put a lo-fi beat on it and relax and sleep and, you know, and do the housework and whatever to it. None of that shit, right? It's the antithesis of ASMR, right? And then I thought, well, maybe that's the fucking angle, because no one's tried that one yet. What if we tried the opposite of ASMR? And the opposite of ASMR is misophonia. Right, misophonia, right? Miso, as in, like, you know, it's the miso, M-I-S-O, which is the translates as, it's the same, you know, miso that's at the front of misogyny. Miso meaning hate, and in the terms of misogyny, genie or gynae or whatever meaning woman, right? Misophonics means literally hate sound, hate noise, right? And I figured, what if I did a podcast where I would, as I have done in another podcast I tried with a friend of mine called Danny, that, you know, sadly she had to move on and do other things with her life that apparently don't involve sitting on a fucking, you know, thing with me for 9 hours reading shite that I found on Scribed. But I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that idea of finding these documents, these papers, these studies, these books, all of these things that are posted on Scribe, and I'm going to read them. But they've got to be the most infuriating, anger-inducing, anxiety-ridden, hateful, fucking stupid, ignorant, badly spelt, pissed off fucking piles of shit. And I'm just going to keep going through, and each one will be me attempting to try, and they will gradually, I imagine, get bigger and more complicated as time goes on. The end game, and I wouldn't say it's an end game, but the ultimate sort of goal in terms of me attempting to read a ridiculously long book or document in one go that would probably end up taking about a month, right, is Empress Theresa. Now, if you don't know about Empress Theresa, right, you're going to have to go look it up and educate yourself so you can stop being ignorant, because there are some things in this world you just can't do. Right? You don't tug on Superman's cape, you can't handcuff the wind, and you cannot explain Empress Theresa. So you're doing no, I'm doing Misophonics. It's not agro SMR. That makes no sense. So that's what Misophonics. So you are the Misophonics. The things I'm reading are the Misophones. I am the Misophoniac. And this podcast show, video, whatever the fuck it ends up being, probably all three, is Dick Coughlan's Misophonics Anonymous. So if you're one of those weirdos who likes to hear some staccato-voiced git stammering and stuttering his way through some absolute fucking arse gravy that someone has fucking shat onto the internet in order to teach us things we didn't need to know about crap nobody asked them for and they're not qualified in any way, this is going to be the place to be. And today, to start with today, I thought rather than picking one that's going to take a bit of time, I've got loads of little ones. So I don't know how many we'll get through. I'll probably do a couple of hours, but we're going to get through them. So it'll be nice and simple and straightforward. Right? I'll give it to. It's only what we're going to be doing. I'll give you some, just to give you a teaser. I'll give you some. These are some of the things I will be reading tonight. And offering my reactions and my thoughts, opinions, wisdom. I will be improving. We have things that we have 3 myths concerning the female orgasm. Why Negroes can't swim. This next one, I can't say one of the words in it because the YouTube algorithm will pick up. So I'll just say it's a word, 6 letters. It's a racial epithet, and it begins with N, and it's an anagram of ginger. I will be substituting it with the word ninja. Right now, people are going to come in after this, and they're going to think, right? So explain that. But it's called Why Ninjas Like Race Mixing. Right? We have things like we have the art of fingering. That's a good one, right? Masturbation in Islam, or Jislam, as it should be known. But there you go. That's a shout out to that video. And I think probably that might be enough. There's some other, just give you some other ones that you might expect to be coming up. We've got how to bang foreign girls. Then we've got 6 advanced fingering techniques. So we're going to be the art of fingering, and now 6 more advanced. Who thought we needed to? And a lot of these books like to use words that are not really appropriate, and one of them is the word art. Right, the word art in the art of fingering is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. There'll be things like how to talk to your subconscious mind. The Anti-White Translation Guide Survivalist book. 10 surprising sexual statistics. How to get masturbation free quickly. How to get bigger penis. Not a bigger penis, just bigger penis. 10 rules of anal sex. And I think that's all I've got on there. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Now I am willing to take. Unlike a lot of the stuff I normally do, I don't have a problem with people making requests. You're welcome to do it. I make no guarantees or promises at all. that it will ever happen, or I'll look at it. But it's the rule. It doesn't have to be something that some nutter has just shat out that I've happened to stumble across. It could be anything, but it's got to be something that is fundamentally fucking awful. It's got to be something that makes you laugh, leaves you staggered, bewildered, confused, and boiling with rage. It has to be something like that. Could be fiction, could be historical, could be anything, right? But that's what it's got to be, right? And so that's what we're going to be doing. Now I'll give it so we'll give it 5 minutes, and then also, and we're going to start, obviously. Now, all of these documents I got from the website Scribed, which is CRIBD.com. Fantastic website for loads of, just if you want a never-ending supply of content. And Scribed is basically what SoundCloud is to music, what YouTube is to videos, what Instagram is to photos, what TikTok is for, people who want to watch 10-second videos of a 14-year-old girl and a paedophile doing a duet together. Scribed is it for text-based documents, right? And a lot of these documents, most of them in fact, were uploaded by people, obviously, were uploaded by, how else would they have got here? They were uploaded by people who, for some reason, didn't feel it was necessary for them to put their name on it. So in a lot of these cases, I don't know who wrote them, but for some reason, even though they were too ashamed and embarrassed and just filled with self-loathing, they didn't want to be associated with it or even put a pen name to it. No, they just put it there because in their mind, this is probably the only fucking thing they've ever done in their life that is productive in any way. Right. So what we've got is, so we'll be starting with. Okay. We will be starting with 3 myths about the female orgasm. The female orgasm. This is important now. Yeah, 3 myths concerning the female orgasm. Now you can't see this. You can look it up. Remove get your search history cleaned. Now, I want to make it clear, this is not some nice sort of PDF document or some PowerPoint presentation where it actually looks good. There's these people are to text-based formatting what Neil Breen is to special effects. That's basically what do you mean? What's that? Don't just say what's that. What's what? Anyway. So again, I don't know who wrote this. I don't think I want to know. I don't think any of us need to know. Women can do that. Well, Lewis, if you would shut your fucking mouth, if you'd wind your neck in for 2 minutes, sit your wrinkled minge down, I will elaborate. But this is all over the place. The fucking, I don't know what this font is. The title is off to the side. This does have, and also a lot of the words are cut in half because they've not formatted it properly. So on in a lot of this, the word is cut off by the end of it, and then the second half of it is on the next line. So if I might stumble over that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I say ladies and gentlemen. Now, gentlemen, lads, fellas, guys, geezers, blokes, men, right. I will now be reading to you the inaugural presentation here on the Dick Coughlan's Misophonics Anonymous show, Myths Concerning Female Orgasm. Concerning. You have been hearing so-called truths about the female orgasm since you were in junior high school. Now, the word so-called truths, right? You don't need to put, you don't do so-called and then put truths in. Yeah, you've been hearing, and I have been hearing myths about it, since you were in junior high school. And both men and women can become confused about the actual facts concerning females. Yes, women can as well. See? Men and women. Says right there. Some know, some of them. there are some women, you don't know what's going on. No, fair enough. It's not your job, but the fucking fact is, you don't know. So, what is true, comma, and what isn't, comma, question mark, right? I will be like, you know, I will be telling you when there's bad grammar and punctuation. Right? Here are some of the common myths. Make notes, fellas. Get your pads out. Male orgasm myth number 1. It is more difficult for women to reach orgasm than for men. It has become common knowledge that women have more difficulty reaching orgasm than men. But is this really true? I would hazard to say yes, because I'm pretty sure, you know, if given men the male sort of the sort of clash and the difficulty of concerning what actually happened during sex and what we tell everybody happened, there's no corollary there. I'm pretty sure if we didn't have to make that shit up, we didn't have to, you know, create this ridiculous fucking fictional event, you know, we would just, you know, we would know that by now. But is it really true? In reality, which is where we all live, right? Someone had to say it. In reality, studies have shown that the female orgasm is simply different from the male orgasm. I know. Fucking truth bombs coming out here. And therefore is considered more elusive. The elusive female orgasm. Here, as we march through looking for the elusive. David Attenborough sat in your fucking sock drawer, waiting to pick it up. Elusive female orgasm. The difference is actually in the pattern of orgasm. Yes. Did you know that orgasm had a pattern? I didn't. No. This is the pattern. Okay. Women take longer to reach the optimum level of arousal than men, for the most part. Now, I don't know about you, but I was always under the impression that the period of time between starting and hitting the optimum level of arousal, that sort of, I thought that counted as the sort of I didn't realise that was like the pre-show or the warm-up or the trial. I thought that was the sex had started there. But apparently that's not how, that is not the rules, okay? Women from the prime point of arousal to the time of orgasm, it is essentially the same for men and women. Yes, see, if you just don't count the first 38 minutes before, you know, that it took you to get to that point, and you just count the bit of time, the only bit of sex that actually counts, that is actually officially recognised in canon, is the bit where you go, oh, that bit, that's the same, right? That's it. It's the same. It's kind of like me running the 100 metres in the Olympics and then claiming I ran a marathon because only the last 100 metres counts. Where is it? Essentially the same for men and women, but it takes longer to reach that point. This is why women need to be warmed up. Again, I don't know why. You're just there going, come on, twiddling a stick on her minge, right? So women need to be warmed up in bed before actually beginning the final portion of sex. The final portion. Sex. The final portion. Are you ready for your portion of sex? Would you like another helping? Are you ready for your extra portion? Your fucking portion of sex. The final... Welcome to the final portion of sex. This guy hasn't had a portion. He hasn't had the fucking left. He wouldn't get the batter bits out the bottom of the fryer for fucking tea. The final portion of sex, which inevitably leads to... Inevitably. You see, once we're there, once we're at the point of arousal, which, we agree now, we know, which we now know, that is where it starts. We've been there the whole time. We're there. We were ready, right? Right. It's not our fault that we're more evolved than you, right? We were just there, ready to go. We were ready on the bus 5 hours before, right? We're your Gurkha guide in the journey through the portions of sex, right? The warming up to get you to the point for the only bit of sex that counts, which is the last 4.5 seconds, right? But then once you're there, it is orgasms are Thanos once you're there. If a man doesn't know, in the weird fantasy world where men may not know what they're doing, if you happen to stumble upon one of these alleged men who don't know what they're doing, if a man doesn't know how to help his partner reach the highest point of arousal, help. I love the way they word it, like he's doing you a favour. Like, I'm sorry, would you like a hand? Can I help you with that? Do you need some help achieving orgasm, do you? So let me just help you there. I'll take that for you. Okay, come on, here we go. Like, he's a fucking invalid, right? If a man doesn't know how to help, he wants to help. He wants to. Because, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy and he's helping you, Now, fair enough, you're in a bin and you're asleep, but, at the end of the day, that's just circumstantial evidence. Right, so, where was I, right? If a man doesn't know how to help his partner reach the highest point of arousal, it can seem as though women have more difficulty reaching orgasm than men. That's it. That's the myth, apparently. And I don't know about you, but I'm not fully satisfied, which I think is something that anyone who's been to bed with this geezer who wrote this fucking knows far too well. Right? I don't think he sort of debunked that myth. I think he's actually confirmed that it's not, because the myth, remember, was it is more difficult for women to reach orgasm than for men. Nothing he said in that fucking paragraph below it, not one thing, even came close to contradicting that statement. However, he's moved on now, so there you go. Women, it's not more difficult, it's just women are fucking lazy, right? So, female orgasm myth number 2. Women who cannot reach vaginal orgasm, phrasing, mate. Women who cannot reach vaginal orgasm have a problem. And thank God, and if that's you, love, thank God you came here. Thank God, because now we can explain to you what you've been doing wrong and why you don't have to worry. Based on the first one, I wouldn't hold my fucking breath, right? So, women who cannot reach vaginal orgasm have a problem. It is true that many women can reach orgasm through vaginal intercourse. In fact, less than 30% of women have had vaginal orgasms. I don't think the second part of that sentence matches or really, should be there. I think there was a problem. I don't know whether they've missed some words out, or whether this was being written a line at a time and then folded in the paper over. But the first part of that sentence said, it is true that many women can reach vaginal orgasm through vaginal intercourse. In fact, less than 30%. Now, 30% of women is still many, but it's, you haven't really fucking put it that way, I'm sure not knowing how to put it, again, is another problem this geezer's had. Anyway, so less than 30% of women achieve vaginal orgasm. Now, obviously, the fact that 30% of women, but only 30%, the fact that there's over 70% of women who cannot adhere, obviously, the reason for that is something to do with them, right? It's their fucking, right? It's, they're just, they've got some shit going on, you know. And you say to them, you say, look, don't be embarrassed. It's okay. Happens to a lot of women, right? Right? It's just one of those things. No, nothing to be embarrassed about. You comfort them, right? You don't make. You know, obviously, you go and laugh at it the next day, right? So it is true that there are 30% of women. So what? It is true that 30% of women, that less than 30% of women have had vaginal orgasms. So why do many women believe that they have a problem when they cannot have vaginal orgasms? Do you think maybe it's because the male patriarchy system that we live in has, you know, systematically negged the fuck out of them to convince them? Because wankers like you are the geezers who end up running this fucking country? No, obviously. It's obviously on them. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, obviously a guy who, you know, we should be referencing and quoting, an authority, as you will, an authority, no doubt, on this fucking issue. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, believed that women should only reach orgasm through vaginal intercourse. That's what he believed, apparently. You know. He was a, you know, a vaginal absolutist, right? He completely rejected the idea of clitoral stimulation. I never knew that was an area where you could have such a passionate and, you know, aggressive and dogmatic view. He rejected completely the idea of clitoral stimulation. That's what I don't care if he did lots of coke, he was a fucking doctor. He completely rejected the idea of clitoral stimulation and considered it to be juvenile. Which is why he only ever did it when he was fucking children. Now, this began an entire era of belief that women should only reach orgasm vaginally. Do you remember that era? Do you remember the era, the vag-only era? The no fat clits era? Do you remember the Say No to Clits campaign that swept through this country? Right. Well, they talk about it. Oh, God, you couldn't move. It was like the Macarena. It was fucking everywhere, right? There was the vag separatists there, the fucking everything, you know. We all remember that era that Sigmund Freud kicked off. The fact is, however, the fact is that it is a miracle that some women are able to achieve vaginal orgasms. It is a miracle, apparently. This geezer used the word, he invoked the very religious and spiritual concept of a miracle, which is something that is not actually possible within the physical world and can only be achieved by interference from God. It is a miracle that some women are able to achieve vaginal orgasm. The clitoris has a concentration of nerve endings comparable only to the head of a penis. Only to the head of a penis. The head of a penis. He's used the word head of. I am the head of the penis. You are my tribal queef, right? The head of the penis. Who sits at the head of the penis? Right? Whose turn is it to sit at the head of the penis? Right. The head of the penis, which is why clitoral orgasms are achieved more easily. Much more easily. Well, obviously, they're easier if there's a fucking 70% chance that they can't even have one. Which I'm sure, again, not your fault at all, mate. We know you know what you're doing. You've been practicing all week on the dog. Right. Women who are only able to have clitoral orgasms are perfectly normal. Do you hear? So, here you go, girls. Did you hear that big release as all the women who aren't watching this sighed? Thank you. Now, if you're sat there and you can only achieve orgasms by having your clitoris stimulated, and you've been going through your life believing that you're you're the Rocky Dennis of sex. No, right? You're not. It's perfectly normal. Now, that was not the fucking aim of this one. You'll remember the myth was women who can't reach vaginal orgasm have a problem. And it's kind of actually, he kind of hasn't. I would say if there is something you're doing that means you can't come, then yes, that is the problem. There's the rub, right? Ironically, whether it is nobler in the thing with the sea of truffles and by opposing end them and all that other stuff, right? I think the dogs are barking now, getting there excited. Women who have clitoral orgasms are perfectly normal, and they should be open and honest about that fact with their sexual partner. Yes, girls, for God's sake, stop keeping it to yourself. You can talk to us, right? Tell us. We have a right to know, goddammit. If you can only achieve your through one of the two fucking ways, apparently, and I'm sure there must be some crossover. It can't be a fucking totally separate Venn diagram. There must be some overlay, right? But apparently, right, you need to start telling your partner this, right? Because he can't work it. He's there flipping his fucking double-sided coin. Female orgasm myth. So we had two myths, neither of which have been debunked. They've been actually shown to be, facts. Female orgasm myth number 3: only women fake orgasms. Now, I know. Here we go. So, only women fake orgasms, right? Now, I know that I know that this guy, it might seem like he's just saying stuff, but this guy's levels of research, his dedication to actually addressing these issues, and his the amount of actual data and evidence he's going to provide is about to go off the chart, right? He's about to show you he's the Walter Cronkite of this, whatever the fuck this is, right? So, female orgasm myth number 3: only women fake orgasms. Since orgasm, right, singular, since orgasm is considered the climax of any sexual act. What do you mean considered? What do you mean? What is there some kind of debate? Is there about this? Are there orgasm climax deniers out there? Should we teach the controversy? When does it end if it doesn't end there? What is the objective? What is the actual peak? Considered. It is believed by many. There are schools of thought on this, right? Since orgasm is considered the climax of any sexual act, the inability to have one can sometimes lead to faking it. Yes, the inability. Again, it's your fault, girls. It's not the man's inability, because he's doesn't know what the fuck. You said you had a pierced clitoris, and he bought a magnetic chest piece with him, and that was all he had going. Didn't fucking help. No, it's your inability. You haven't got the skills. You haven't got what it takes to make it in this game, right? You need to start bucking your fucking ideas up. You need to start putting in the graft, right? Can lead to faking it. Don't put this in fucking air quotes. Women, this is a great sentence. Women are notorious for faking orgasms in order to make their sexual partners happy. Women are notorious for faking orgasms in order to make their sexual partners happy. Because again, we've convinced them that we actually care. And we've done it by making them feel guilty about the fact that we're crap in bed, by convincing them that actually it's their fault. So now they're faking for our benefit, even though it makes no difference to us. Okay? See, in some awful as we are, that is a fucking genius level of evil, isn't it? I mean, come on. It's a shame we're monsters, but men are clever bastards, aren't we? To make their sexual partners happy, but men have been known to fake orgasms as well. Yeah. Men have been known. There are rumours. Right? There are stories. There's a subreddit about it. It's got no members. You ready for this? You ready? Now he's about to, I'm joking, I'm making fun of him here, but he's about to slap me across to show me what an idiot I am with the start of this next sentence. Recent studies show that men are actually more likely to fake orgasms because they are always expected to climax. Irrefutable proof there. Recent studies. Not studies from fucking 10 years ago, not studies from the 1800s, no, not fucking Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? No, recent studies have shown that men are actually more likely to fake orgasms because we are expected to. We are expected. Do you understand? It's about time we said this. Like, ladies, do you not understand the pressure men are under when we go into sex thinking, oh God, I really hope I come. Right? I am tired. I'm sick and tired of going into sex and it just lasts hours. It just goes on and on. It never ends. It's so embarrassing. Right? I'm ashamed to I'm ashamed to show my face. Why are you so tired, John? Oh God, 12 hours I was at it. And it's like, what, are you 12 hours shagging your wife? What are you, a fucking bender? Right? There with a fucking steaming great hard. It's like, this is amazing. Because men are expected. Okay. Some women find it difficult to orgasm during sexual intercourse. I do that, do they? Any gonna elaborate on why? No, okay. But they enjoy the act itself. Yes, they don't orgasm, but just so you know, fellas, they may not orgasm, but that doesn't mean they're not having fun. Sometimes you go to the cinema to watch a film, and it's not brilliant, it's not great, but it's nice enough, innit? It's all right. It was, fine. It wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't the worst way you could have spent your afternoon. No. So that's a female privilege there. You might not come, but you at least enjoyed the journey to fucking being disappointed at the end. Whereas we're there trying to get get to the South Pole, right, on our own, solo, no fucking support. Some women find it difficult to orgasm, but enjoy the act itself. This is completely known. That's what he puts. Some women find it difficult to achieve orgasm during intercourse, but they enjoy the act itself. This is completely known. Completely, it's known completely. Everyone knows it. So I don't even know why he wrote it, because obviously I knew that. You guys all knew that. You were probably singing along as I was reading it, going, "Yes, here we go. It's all it's completely known, completely known." But when a man, men, this channel, this is Man Central, this is Manhattan, we're here in Manchester, right, and other things, But when a man is unable to have an orgasm, it's just some sad music playing in there. If you've got any sad music on your phone, play this behind it. Play the sad song from the internet. But when a man is unable to have an orgasm, he suffers from feelings of inadequacy and faces rejection or teasing from his sexual partner. For that reason, he might fake an orgasm. Okay, I'm not going to do any research because, well, I'm not going to explain that either. Right? I'm not going to look this up. I'm not going to I don't care whether people can come at me, send me links. I'm not clicking on them. I'm going to go out on a limb and say what he just described has literally never fucking happened ever in anywhere, and I'm including fiction. I'm including fictional universes, right? I'm including anything, right? Literally any form of fucking storytelling where the act of sexual congress can take place. I am saying at no point has anyone even thought about putting that into a story, that a man cannot achieve orgasm, and because of this, he feels inadequate. He faces rejection and ridicule from the person he loves. And so he has to face the shame right? Of going, oh, like practicing. He has to practice that. Do you know where can you practice that? Right? There's nowhere, right? He goes to the train toilet? No, right? He has to pretend he's fucking got something wrong with him in the supermarket. Goes, he has to watch hour and hour after of pornography, watching. So he's trying to get their technique. That's what we have. It's about time someone fucking said it. That is the end of that document. It takes up less than 1 page. Right? It's 1 page of text, 3 myths. The third one was absolute horseshit, and the first 2 were actually, he proved them to actually be true. And I hope you've, I don't know what you've taken, but that, ladies and gentlemen, was, I said ladies and gentlemen, that, lads, fellas, geezers, guys, whatever, and, and gays, because obviously, men can be gay. We know this now, right? I know that there's still some people who, you're hanging on, but come on. Get on the train, right? Get on the gay train. We're going there, right? Myths concerning, so that was myths concerning female orgasm. I thank you. There you go. And that was the first, so, I need now. So let's have so I think after now I've read it. I think now you've had a chance to absorb it. I think we should have a few minutes before we go on to the next one, where we can talk about what do you think? What do you feel you took away from? What was your sort of feelings towards that? And are you like me, sat here thinking, I hope this guy was caught, or there was some intervention, before he was able to end up, doing God knows what to loads of dead pensioners, right? So over to you, folks. Let me see. So how could a guy fake an orgasm? You could tell. Well, Lewis, it's very elaborate. What you have to do is you have to get. If you've got a bicycle pump, right, and you put it there, right, and I've got the plans somewhere here, right. Let me see if I can. Right, but anyway, so you have to create some kind of a system, and it goes through there. If you get a scalpel, right, and you just underneath the footing, you can slide the tube in right there, and all you've got to do is make sure there's enough sort of air, it's airtight, and then underneath arm here, you get some sort of it's like a sort of mini bagpipe, right, and you just pretend you've damaged your shoulder, and then all you got to do, but the other thing is, you have to have those. Those MREs, those meals that you eat, that actually you pour water in and they actually have a heating. You have to take one of them apart and put it in there, because you've got to make sure that the egg yolks that you've got, and if you haven't got egg yolks, if you're a vegan, you can use aquafaba, right? It's just you've got a tin of chickpeas, only fucking 30p. Empty the liquid out. You can use that. It's just as good, apparently. If it's just a one night stand, you're a sadist, you can just use wallpaper paste. Quite frankly, I don't care. That is on you, but. That is, but there's a whole system of it's very, very, you get used to it, but that's how I imagine that would happen. Or, of course, maybe, let's not forget, Lewis, it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to tell, because the man could be wearing something, which means there's no reason for her to feel it. And all you've got to do is make sure that after like a carp or anything, sound gone. Now, 1, 2, sound. Hello. It's back. Okay. What was the last word I said? What was the last word I said? Lewis, stop fucking around. Calm down. Sound right, but is it back now? I don't care what it did yesterday. Right, it seemed to get, but it's back now. I will fucking come out. I will come out. I'm going to come out there. I'm going to fucking kill you. Okay. So yes, but yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, so as I was saying, so you didn't even hear the bit. So you've lost all of that. So you can't even see. That's gone now forever. Right, I'm not repeating that. I don't want to say what I just said twice. I don't want to live in that fucking world. It was about wearing something on your dick. You think the last sentence. Now, are you actually sure it might be? Or are you just sort of taking a punt? Because the odds are that at any given moment, that's probably what I'm talking about. You know, I give up, right? If you lot haven't learned, if you lot haven't learned to lip read, and I know I make it difficult because I don't look at the camera a lot, I stammer all the time, I wave my hands in front of my face, and I've got a beard hanging, and it's, I know that it's, and the quality of the picture is so bad that you can't make out the pixels, but this is the fucking, sharp end, people, It was a perfectly timed comedy bit. Right. I suppose it will look like I'm saying, so what you got to do is you got to... You see, now that's actually quite good. But see, lol, well done. You've made me feel better about that. See, folks, even my microphone, right? It's crap and it breaks, but it breaks at the right moment, right? Everything I work with, even the fucking technology, right? Timing. It knows. It doesn't just do something. It makes sure it holds out. Because we've got to do it at the optimum moment. Yeah. This is fucking... Jackie Mason didn't have timing that good. Now. Oh. Anyway, so folks, any questions? I'll prepare the next one. Now the next one, just so you know, then... Oh my God. Got anything? Yes, mate, I've got loads. See, lol, if you'd been here at the start, I gave away, I listed off some names. Now, you could go back and find that out, or you could just sit here and wait. Let me just tell you this. I would just leave it. Or go back and relive the mic breaking moment. Classic. That was the Del Boy falling through the bar moment of this channel. The next one. Now, again, this came from Scribed. I have no idea who wrote it. Because, again, there's no names on it. This one... However, interestingly, whereas the last one contained nothing in the way of, I don't know, links to, evidence or data or proof of anything he's saying. He just literally said, studies have shown, or some bloke down the pub told me. Right? My mate Gavin swears blind. Right? If you blow in their ears, their knickers fall off. Right? This guy actually has got two links to two websites. I think the top link, however, he's kind of cheating because the top link takes you to a WordPress, and the WordPress article is literally the same fucking text that's written underneath it. Now, I'm glad that kudos to him for linking the original article. He probably was the one who wrote it. But you can't read something in an article on a blog that you wrote and then put it in another document and link that as a source. There's a certain circular logic to that. Now, Alex Jones did it his entire career. Right? He would sit there, talk about, George Soros and his giant 10 foot tall robot paedophile army and all the goblin people, right? And all that shit. He would talk about that, right? And then he would link the story that he's talking about in this to his own website, because I suppose the logic is like, of course it's true. Like, it's there on my website. I wrote this. You think I would lie to myself, you scum? Like, that's what he would do. Now, but again, I don't know who did this. Now, this, and this one again, very short, very quick. This isn't even a page. The last one was one page. This isn't even that. This is not even a page. This is barely. And it's got margins, but I mean, it's like a packet of cigarettes on an A4. You could fit that on the back of it, right? And this article is called "Why Negroes Can't Swim." Now, I know that they've done a remake of "White Men Can't Jump." This is not anything to do with that. This is not an alternate version. This is not some kind of wacky take on it. This was not the original inspiration for the first story. This is literally called "Why Negroes Can't Swim." None of them. Meanwhile, of course, white people in white countries are being invaded by people, swimming over the channel to their country. Someone's been teaching them. Who was it? Who went over there? Who told them stuff? You can't do that, right? And stop giving them money for food, because you know what? Next thing, they'll be wanting money for clothes. Right? It's a slippery slope, right? Anyway, so this one won't take long, but this is why. It's one of those questions. What came first, the chicken or the egg? It's the egg, right? But what's the tree falls in the woods, and of course, the old classic, a tale as old as time, why Negroes can't swim. There is a whole body of evidence showing that there are distinct differences in the body types among blacks and whites. Technically, factually, completely accurate. There is a whole body of evidence. That would be the body, really. However, this does seem to sort of suggest that the differences are between a black person and a white person. He doesn't seem to take into account that not all white people look the same, and not all black people look the same. I'm pretty sure, unless of course they're all, they're fucking with us. Unless they're all it's just Eddie Murphy playing all of them, because we can monopolise that another fucking thing. But yes, so that's it. So there's a body of evidence, right? I'm sure this guy's there's evidence, there's bodies buried somewhere showing distinct differences. Not indecipherable differences, distinct differences. Mainly, the biggest difference is that you are a completely different human being who has completely different DNA to everyone else on the planet. Right? These are real patterns being described here. Whether the fastest sprinters are Jamaican, African, or Canadian, I'm not joking, he's put Canadian there. Really, you think we're going to fall for that, dear? You think that we are going to fall for that? You just happen to put Jamaica and Africa. By the way, Africa's a continent, right? Jamaica, that's that joke we all used to tell. My wife's gone to the West Indies. Jamaica? No, she went of her own accord. We all know it, right? My wife's gone to the West Indies. Oh yeah, she went on Tuesday. Oh, it doesn't work. So there's whether the fastest runners come from Jamaica, Africa, whatever, and or Canada. Canadians can run fast. That's because they've got bears up there, right? And that's also because it's covered in ice. And also there's lots of room. And also, who gives a shit what Canadians can do, right? Now, most of them. So whether the fastest sprinters are Jamaican, African, or Canadian, most of them can be traced back generally to Western Africa. Most of them traced back. This guy's done it. He's gone round the world. He's gone to Jamaica, Africa, Canada. He has been there. He got the Cool Runnings team and the geezers who played him in the film. Right? All of them. He got Forrest Gump. Right? All these people and traced them all back to West Africa, which as we know, Western Africa. Very, very. It's not like Western Africa. It's this vast fucking area of fucking land, huge fucking expanse, like bigger than fucking Europe and America put together. You might as well just say they came from Earth, right? So trace back to Western Africa. Swimmers tend to come from Europe, and therefore tend to be white. That's it. That's the first paragraph. So apparently I didn't know this. Canadians, if any Canadians here, you are apparently all from Western Africa, along with your Jamaican and African brethren. I would have thought, to be fair, the fact that the African runners are from West Africa is a little bit of a cheat there. I think I'm not convinced, quite frankly, that he's he could have at least thought of, I don't know, a country in West Africa. But he doesn't know that, right? He could have said South Africa. That would have been funny if he claimed that South Africans are great runners and they all come from West Africa. So yeah, so Canadians, if you're watching this, follow up on this, because you might be able to claim reparations, right? But because swimmers come from Europe, great swimmers come from Europe, they tend to be white. Now, it's got nothing to do with the fact that maybe in a lot of African countries, particularly those around the sub-Saharan area, there's no fucking water because it's 100 billion degrees. That might not have nothing to do with it, right? But so we've established this. Swimmers, so white people can swim, right? Because we can't, and we come from Europe. That's it. Whereas all the black people from Jamaica and Canada are running. Right? Feel the rhythm. Blacks, that's what they are. Blacks tend to have longer limbs with, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Blacks tend to have longer limbs. Wife goes on holiday, some dude called Dexter comes up swinging his dick. Blacks tend to have longer limbs with a smaller circumference. Now, I'm wondering, who have you ever heard anywhere in anything, like whether it's an actual academic or serious paper, or have you ever heard anyone talk about the circumference of a limb? Black people have long limbs with a smaller circumference. Yes, they're longer, but they're not as thick. As we all know, black people not known for having much meat on them. Very, very, very. They all look like Enderman from Minecraft. They don't, it's not, the idea that, as we all know, none of them have got any sort of big, bountiful flesh. Literally built an entire genre of music around that. Blacks tend to have longer limbs with a smaller circumference, meaning that their centres of gravity, because black people have two centres, their centres of gravity are higher compared to whites of the same height. Black people tend to have longer limbs with a smaller circumference, which means their centres of gravity are higher compared to whites of the same height. Because as we all know, when you are swimming in water, the centre of gravity is a really relevant fucking thing, isn't it? No one has ever drowned because gravity forced them into the water. No one has ever been there going, oh no, don't save yourself, you've got thinner limbs than me. Look at how chunky my thighs are, I'll never survive. I knew I shouldn't have, oh God. Well, so here we go. So there are all the black people walking around like Stretch Armstrong, like all their arms flapping around like Cthulhu. Very, very thin, very long, yes, we've heard the stories, but thin. Whereas white people are there swimming around, and obviously, all the black people are being held down a bit more, centre of gravity's lower, right? Whereas white people, stiff breeze can blow us off, right? Asians and whites tend to have longer torsos. Yeah, you didn't think about it, the torso. You ever measured the torso? Have you measured? Yeah, go on about other bits and pieces, but the difference between a white man's torso and a black man's torso, on average, ours are longer. And yes, I did that. Yes, I did measure it. You don't want to know how. Right? There's a shovel and a flashlight out there, and there's going to be some stories about the grave robbing, but it's got nothing to. I'm telling you, we've got a longer torso, and white people need to start flexing on that shit. Because as we all know, nothing drives a woman crazy more than a geezer with a long torso. Just coming out like Jesus Christ. And Asians have long torsos as well. Who knew? I didn't. Again, I've never measured anyone's torso. And I've certainly not measured it to the point where I felt confident writing a fucking document about it. Asians and whites tend to have longer torsos, so their centres of gravity are low. So, he's put the word lower twice. The centre of gravity, he is obsessed with this. The centre of gravity is 3% higher in blacks than in whites. 3% from what? 3% of what, mate? You know. I mean, what exactly am I supposed to do with that information? What is 3% anyway in the difference? I mean, I mean, what's going to happen if your centre of gravity is lower? I don't know. I do know that on a skateboard, when you're on a skateboard, the centre of gravity when it's lower, right? When it's lower, you go faster. But that's on a skateboard. You can't do that. When you squat down on a skateboard, it speeds up. But that doesn't count when you're running. You can't sit there running with your fucking legs. But apparently having a lower centre of gravity is much more useful when you're swimming. It's that 3%. It's that 3%. We always hear about it. Yeah? We're always hearing about it. You know, that 3% advantage, the white 3%. That's why we've been slaying the swimming. That's why we dominate it. We are the fucking Harlem Globe. No, we can't do that. No. We're whatever we're the Harlem Globetrotters plus 3%. As a matter of fact, that's my favourite part of this fucking document, where he writes those words. As a matter of fact. Right? Many measurements. As a matter of fact, many measurements. No units, numbers, fuck all. Just measurements. Many measurements show that black men, not a black man, a black man. Measurements. Did he lose his tape measure and he had to use like a fucking belt loop or a piece of gaffer tape? Did he have to... Many measurements... I've got to read this again. This is a fantastic... As a matter of fact, many measurements show that black men have a higher centre of gravity than white men of the same... You just said that! Why are you saying it again? You can't say matter of fact as if you're about to fucking knock our socks off with some fucking knowledge that we give with some fucking biting hot news fucking information and then say the same thing that we fucking can't believe you said in the previous sentence. You're already padding it out. He's not even a paragraph into this. So we've established this. Black men have a higher centre of gravity than men of the same height. Because many measurements have been measured. Lots of measuring has... Still, I don't know why. Still, there have been numerous studies about the bone density and buoyancy of either race. Why? What, are white people terrified they're just going to sink to the bottom? Or is this the way that black people are going to start getting good at swimming? They're going to start increasing the buoyancy of their bones. They're going to sleep in vacuum fucking. They're going to sleep in like those vacuum sealing machines. They're going to start putting fucking marshmallow fluff in instead of their bone marrow. They're going to be chiseling it out, trying to get some space in there. Yes, they can run. Yes, they can run on water, obviously, but the centre of gravity is still lower. But here's the thing: if black people start running on water, they've got a higher centre of gravity. Then they're going to fly. They're just going to be. It'll just be like R. Kelly going, "I used to think," and everyone's going to be like, "Wow, he's swimming," and then he's going to keep going out of the stadium because he doesn't know how to get back down. Right? Oh, Icarus, fly thee not too close to It's going to happen. Mark my words. It will happen. I'll tell you what. What I just described, that will happen long before a crap NBA player joins the women's fucking NBA and pretends to be transgender just so he can fucking play in the first team, which is what all these fuckers on the right seem to think is going to happen. Right? No, a black man will fly out of the away from a swimming pool into the sun. That'll happen first, right? Believe me. What am I talking about? I'm not sorry. No, I'm talking. This is the guy who should feel shame. Usain Bolt getting gold in swimming. I know, no, and just running through the water, because they repel. It repels water. They're what's it called? Aquaphobic. They can't stand Barbie girl. Don't play them. Don't play Barbie girl around. Still, there have been numerous studies about the bone density of either race. According to the American Journal of Human Biology, he wrote the word human twice. Human. According to the American Journal of Human Biology, a journal where it is so prestigious that they accidentally put the word human in the title of their own organisation twice, and no one's had the heart to point out that they shouldn't have done that because that makes them look stupid. Of human biology. I don't know what other sort of human you can be, but these are humans. These are almost superhumans, you would say, like some kind of Superman, some kind, And if they're swimming, then he's just going to be like, no. But if they've got more buoyancy bones, then they would be floating. They have more air. They'd be Aryan supermen, right? An experiment, according to the American Journal of Human Biology, an experiment was conducted. An experiment was conducted studying the buoyancy of 13 black males and 13 white males. Really? Shout out to Propaganda Buster. They were matched for age, weight, and height. Okay. In a swimming pool. Who fucking thought this was... Was this like a practical joke they play on The Office? Kids, the new kid in The Office. We need 13 black guys and 13 white guys. Right? They need to be the same height, the same weight, the same age. Their limbs need to be the same circumference, and they need to have the same density of bones, apparently. There you are, Steve. And while you're at it, get us some rainbow paint, some skirting board ladders, a bubble for a spirit level, and some sky hooks. Cheers, mate. So, they've got 13 black geezers, 13 white geezers. They're at a swimming pool to test them for buoyancy. Groundbreaking shit. Fuck the Large Hadron Collider. In a swimming pool, they were tested for vertical and horizontal buoyancy. Similarities were found in the breathing patterns of both races. Similarities were found in the breathing patterns. It turns out both, contrary to what you might think, black people don't breathe through their ears. No. We know that's been a stereotype that's been going around. They've been stigmatised about that, ear breathers, for all too long. Right? No, they do it the same way. They do it. They put their fucking trousers on one arm at a time, just like the rest of us, right? Their breathing patterns were the same, which this eliminated the notion that the black swimmers were afraid of sinking. Sorry. Because black people breathe the same way white people breathe, they decided to rule out the possibility that the black men were secretly terrified of sinking. Could you not have just asked them that, rather than go through this fucking elaborate, meaningless experiment? Jesus, Joseph Mengele did more worthwhile fucking experiments than this. Couldn't you just say, are you terrified of drowning, mate? Could you just not have asked him? What do you mean they were afraid of sinking? Have you ever... I've never met a human being in my life who is afraid of sinking. who's terrified. Oh no, not good. I've got to get in the water, and you know what happens. You know what I'm like. The main difference was this. Are you ready? Are you strapped in, folks? Because this apparently was the main difference. Because that's how scientific studies work. You don't go through all the data, right? You don't collect everything. You don't take everything together. No, this. You just look at the biggest one. The main difference, right, was this. The whites had significantly higher fat distribution. The more fat, the more buoyancy. Now, fat distribution is not the same as having more fat. Because, for all we know, all the black geezers had all their fat just stored into one fucking under that one tricep. They might have had it all on their back. They might have had a fat back like a camel. Right? They might have had big thighs. Big, thick thighs that could crush fucking walnuts. They might have... Fat distribution. There you go, folks. If you want to be an Olympic swimmer, if you want to win a gold medal in the Olympics for swimming, just get fatter. There you go. The fatter you are, the better the swimmer you are. We know that to be true, right? We already know this, right? We know that fat people dominate that fucking. They just get in there like they're like fucking peregrine falcons of the water. That was the main difference, folks. The main difference is apparently white people's bodies are better. The distribution of fat in a white person's body is very communistic, right? It means if everyone gets the same. There's no special. Whereas black people, a bit more different. They've got very selfish parts of their body. Some of them have big saggy tits. Some of them have huge bouncing bottoms. Whereas everything else is dwindling away. Right? Very, very selfish, right? Or maybe different body parts are stealing the fat from other body parts in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly say. I've got a feeling that's about as valid a fucking likelihood as what this geezer's writing here. And then, and believe it or not, folks, that is the end of that. That guy, that's all it is. It's fucking half a page, small text, fucking... That is all he wrote. He wrote that, and then he uploaded it on the internet. But underneath that, he's got a link to another website called wetenschap.info, which takes you to an article called Kunnen Donkeren Mensen Olympic Spelen on Spelen winnen. And then there's 2 paragraphs of what I assume is German, right? Now I know a little bit of German, barely enough to get by, but this is just I don't know what any of this means. I can speak fluent German porn. Right? That's a story for another time. And so that's it, folks. There you go. That is what. So now, not only have you learned 3 myths about the female orgasm, you now understand. We now know. We can now put that one to bed. Put that one in the back. It's done. Just put it in storage. Put it in the attic. We now know why. After all these years of fucking wondering, we now know why black people can't swim. I hope you feel enlightened by that. So, any thoughts? Right? Because if you've got one, well done. That's fucking 2 more than this cunt and the other cunt had. Need a break from that. To be fair, that the geezer was talking about buoyancy. Lewis, are you trying to tell me... First of all, after that, if you've listened to that, and then you're going to start a sentence with, to be fair. Right. Yes, he was talking about buoyancy. But you notice that swimmers are not buoyant. They go down. They dive through the water. They don't sort of like... It's not like the Red Sea. You don't get geezers who are cheating. They're trying to smuggle a lilo in their pants. Fucking armbands. You can't be an Olympics... Just because you're more buoyant doesn't mean you're an Olympic swimmer. 22-22 rand. Okay, good. Right. Fine. Now, let me... So, any thoughts, folks, on that? Or just anything in general, because I need. That was a page and a half, right? Right now, I've already done an hour. It took me an hour to read that. Empress Teresa's going to be a fucking nightmare. Oh God. So far, I've spent about 9 collective hours, right? Bigger objects float better. Well, no, they don't. It's to do with, again, it's to do with buoyancy. Right? It will float better if it's buoyant, but there's lots of things that are mad. The Titanic is at the bottom of the ocean, mate. Interesting fact about the Titanic, it had a swimming pool on the outside top deck, and that swimming pool still has water in it. Incredible. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got 10 rules for anal sex. I think we're going to go... Okay, I'm going to go with, possibly... What did that say? I want to go to the public pool and tell kids aren't supposed to know how to swim. Right. I think you should. You know that this geezer got fucking. He's been walking around with a fucking. What's it? Your great uncle was on the Titanic. Good for him. Right. Didn't help, did it? In fact, he might have been the cause of it. My granddad. My granddad, to his credit, God bless him, he told everyone what was going to happen with the Titanic. He told them it was going to, he told them what was going to happen. He told it was going to sink, and they wouldn't listen, and eventually they just kicked him out of the cinema. Right? What we got? We've got how to become masturbation free. Chop your penis and your hands off, then kill yourself. Right? I think I'm going to go for this one. Actually, I'm going to go with masturbation free, the ebook. Right? That's what it says in the file name. Masturbation free, the ebook. Right? This may be. I'm wondering whether this was a sequel or a prequel to the film Free Willy. But it didn't have the budget, and they didn't feel it was really appropriate for their child audience. Nickelodeon were interested, but then they just went with, let's call it Masturbation Free, the ebook. Or the isn't meant to be there, and it's just called Masturbation Free ebook. Now, I'm not about you folks, but masturbation is not really a complicated subject. You don't really need to have any kind of medical or, academic training or knowledge in order to process it. It is what it is. So if you're going to write a book about it, and it still ain't worth fucking charging anything for, but this is going to be so... Okay. Breathe. Thank you for those of you joining. Welcome to Dick Coughlan's Misophonic Anonymous podcast, whatever the fuck it is. If you've just joined us, you have missed. You could have learnt. We've learnt so much. Everyone who's here, we've in the last hour, we are better. We are better people than we were an hour ago. If you're in your 40s and you have a girlfriend in her 30s, leave the willy alone if she has a high sex drive just to pick. Okay, really, Rochester? Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing. Call me a little bit of a renegade, but some random person in the comments of my fucking show is not someone who I'm going to be sort of sitting there making it all right. What did he say? Don't know. And plus, that's a fucking specific issue, isn't it? You brought up there. It's of literally no value, right? Hold on. So, change. Here we go. So look at you, just stunned, aren't you? You can't believe it, right? You've sat there. You can't believe that you now know why, why black people can't swim. We need to know. Someone needs to write one of these. How do you handcuff the wind? That's what I want to know. How do you handcuff the wind? Because when I try, I fail. It's like when I was trying to put thunder in jail. Now, so I think I'm gonna go with Masturbation, the free ebook, part 4. This time it's personal. Masturbation with a vengeance. The blue pills are a bit too pricey. How about this? How about just stop being a massive woolly woofter about it? Be a man and have a dick that works. When you do that, right? Stop eating all that tofu, right? Nuts magazine, that's what you want. Stop wearing eyeliner, that ain't helping. Right? Stay off TikTok. Right? Where are we? Okay, so Masturbation, the free ebook. Now, this guy's a little bit more, he's gone a little bit more. This is a 5-page. 5 pages, this one. However, even though it's 5 pages, he still has felt the need, I guess maybe he wants to be taken seriously. He felt the need to divide these 5 pages. No, sorry, 4 pages. This is 4 pages of text. There are 6 chapters. The first 3 chapters, you can see chapter 1, 2, and 3 on page 1. Now, I don't know about you, but I just think that's taking the fucking piss. Right? I think he's fucking mugging us off there. Just don't have chapters, mate. Don't do it. This is the fucking literary equivalent of a fucking comb over. Okay, you're a geezer in your 60s wearing a corset at a nightclub, right? It makes you look really fucking stupid, right? And again, I don't know who I'm talking to, because again, no name was given here. There was no. We don't know. I mean, and I know it's a shame, because if these guys gave us their names, then we would obviously contact them and thank them and flood them with money. But they don't want the hassle. They're just doing it for the love of the game. They don't care what they're interested in the glory that can come with writing the iconic and groundbreaking tome "Why Negroes Can't Swim" and female orgasm myths and why Negroes can't swim and other interesting questions answered. And this guy's done the same, right? Chapter 1. Chapter -1. Real/actual meaning of masturbation. Right. Yes. Oh yeah. I don't know why he felt the need to put real/actual. Again, he's already padding this out. He's already trying to boost the word count by using 2 different words that mean the same in the fucking subtitle. It's a free ebook, mate. It doesn't matter how many words it's got. We lose fuck all. You're just fucking delaying us the inevitable, right? If you hadn't put that word in there, right, you could have you've had a lot more space. You could have packed a lot more fucking info in. Maybe put up a couple of car chases or a fucking painting or something, right? So, chapter 1. The actual meaning of masturbation. The philosophy of masturbation. Strap in. Masturbation is the sexual stimulation of one's own genitals for sexual pleasure. Wait, I'm gonna need to get notes here, because I didn't realise this was that advanced. Right? I had no idea. Sorry, right, folks. I know I should have checked this ahead of time, because if I'd known I was going to be dealing with, actual fucking real, PhD level fucking medical terminology and understand. What's all that? Masturbation is the sexual stimulation, just put stimulation, of one's own genitals. You don't need to put one's own genitals. I don't have a spare set laying round. And I don't have ownership of another set of genitals that ain't mine. And even if I did, it's still the same thing. For sexual pleasure. For sexual pleasure. So how many words in that sentence? So 1, 2, there are 4 words in that first sentence that don't need to be there. To be fair, none of the words need to be here. None of this is necessary. Sentence 2. Masturbation involves touching, pressing, rubbing, or massaging a person's genital area. Or a person's genital area. Now, a person's genital area. What's the area? Where's the fucking... What exactly are the boundaries of your genitals, right? Mate. How do you do that? Do you just aeroplane it in whatever fucking bit of land? Is that how it works? Touching, pressing, rubbing, massaging. I don't want to spit. I don't want to croak. I want to gag. I want to choke. I want you to touch that little dangly thing sitting in the back of my throat. And then he's gone from one's own genitals to a person's genital area. I'm confused already. What is it? Right? Makes sense. Talking out, everything's got minge coming out of his arse, this bloke. The stimulation may involve hands. I know how to rub stuff, mate. I didn't think I was going to be rubbing it with my fucking forehead. I didn't think, oh, well, obviously when he said rubbing someone's genitals, he obviously meant I was just supposed to sit there and shift my knees around. I'm supposed to stuff their genitals in between my knee crevice and then just jump up and down on them. If you're this confused that you need this information, how the fuck have you learned to read yet? Right? Hands, fingers, knees and toes, sex toys, such as vibrators, mutual masturbation is masturbation with a sexual partner and may include physical stimulation of genitals, such as fingering and or handjob. Now, I would say that mutual masturbation, yes, mutual masturbation is masturbation. Yes, I know that the fucking anti-transgender people are going to say, well, if mutual masturbation is masturbation, then why is it called mutual masturbation? Because that's the fucking level of intellect we're dealing with those people. With a sexual partner, obviously, you can't use an imaginary friend. That don't count, right? He doesn't now. It says sexual partner, doesn't say consenting human of legal age. So maybe dogs, dead bodies, someone who's asleep at a bus stop. I don't know, right? And he says it may include. Now, how is mutual masturbation going to work? How exactly do you achieve? How can you complete masturbation with a partner? A 2-person masturbation speed run. If you have given yourself the handicap of not being able to include stimulation of the genitals. What are you going to do? Ejaculate through your nose? Right. Have you ever thought? No, you haven't. Right? Have you ever thought that when the habit of masturbation develop in male and female, the habit? Have you ever thought that when the habit of masturbation develop in male? That's actually a question, right? He thinks that's a sentence. Have you ever thought that when the habit of masturbation develop in male and female, Have you ever thought, / considered, / pondered, / philosophized, / hypothesized that when the habit, right, the monotony, the regularity of masturbation, wanking, spaffing one off, oiling up your baseball bat, slapping your granny, develops, grows, evolves in male, men, blokes or females, birds, bitches? No. That was what he probably said before the edit. The habit of masturbation. The habit. It's not a habit, mate. A habit is something you pick up. It's a learned behaviour that you pick up. You know, biting your nails is like, you don't need to do it. This is a habit and an addiction, right? Wanking's not my... I had no fucking say over when this fucking thing takes over. Right? The habit of masturbation in male and female, just male and female, developed at a time when they are an infant. and continued to preschool time after that in school time. If your experiences with masturbation were so frequent when you were at preschool that you could call it a habit, then call the police now. Do not write a book about it trying to fucking rationalise this trauma. This was the first draft of Milo's book, wasn't it? The habit of masturbation begins at preschool. At the time of infancy, masturbation in infants is... So I just saw what the end of the sentence before I said it. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. What do you think the act of masturbation in infants is known as? Right? Well, keep an eye out for it, because if you ever overhear this word, at the time of infancy, masturbation in infants is also known as infantile masturbation. I don't think it is it? No, I don't think it's called. I think that infantile masturbation is a code word that is used by paedophiles. Right? That's along with MAP, minor attracted person. You're a nonce. You're a slot badger. You're a small beam regarder. Right? You are the crazy world of Arthur Brown. You're a bent ref, right? Fucking own it. Stop trying to fucking infantile masturbation. What's that? Like masturbation whilst you're fucking making farting noises and watching Beavis and Butthead. A study, another study. Just all these studies. I never knew there were so many studies for stupid shit like this. Right? A study published in March 2004 issues of Archives of Disease in Childhood was one of those diseases, wanker's whiplash, reported the middle age at first symptoms was 10 and 1/2 months. Nobody, no child, no one has ever had a wank at the age of 10 months. No one. It's not possible. Do you know how I know it's not possible? Because their fucking arms aren't big enough for a start. And if their hands can reach their dick, then either, or maybe someone's doing it for them. They're acting as a kind of go-between. They're a proxy, or as we call them, a paedophile. Right? Symptoms. What are the symptoms of infantile masturbation? What should we look out for? Is your infant wanking? Yes. Well, then they've got it. Right? And also, what a pimp. Within the age of 3 months to 5 years. What do you mean within the ages of 3 months to 5 years? What you mean is within the first 5 years. Which, when you're going from 0 to 5, that's a long fucking time. Within the age of 3 months to 5 years, it has been noted, so don't worry, someone wrote this down. It's been noted that they used to do 7 times a week and the timing was 2.5 minutes. So you're telling me there were children aged between 3 months and 5 years who were taken in for a study because they just could not stop wanking, and these doctors decided to put them in one room and observe them doing this so they could correlate the average amount of time they were wanking and how long it took over the course of a week. Do you know what? I take everything back. Everything that I said about the 13 black and white geezers being tested if they can float, right? I take everything back. That was fucking Watson and Crick compared to this. At the time of preschool, dude, would you stop talking about children? At the time of preschool, How did it pass an ethics committee? Well, obviously, they're all pedos too. I think they're all in on it. And do you know what? I think this is what happens when you let fucking people sell rainbow fucking t-shirts at Target. Right? This is what happens when you have a transgender person on a Bud Light can. This is what's next. Right? At the time of preschool, masturbation is a normal behaviour in preschool-aged children. Where? Where exactly? In Cambodia? Right? In the Philippines? Where exactly? The NAMBLA Ethics Committee. It's not exactly that would be quite an easy job, I imagine. The NAMBLA Ethics Committee. Big Brother is sponsored by the NAMBLA Ethics Committee. And after the bad racism incident in the Big Brother house, the NAMBLA organisation released a statement saying racism is totally at odds with the values of the NAMBLA Ethics Committee. There was no committee. I don't think any of this happened, right? Quite frankly, when a child feels sleepy, bored watching television, or under stress. So these kids they suffer from stress and hypersexuality. Are you sure they weren't just midgets? You didn't confuse midgets. You didn't just accidentally follow Ben Shapiro around, did you? Because obviously we wouldn't have done, because that, there's no wanking going on there. According to a 2002 advisory in the annual journal Clinical Reference Systems, the warnings, this guy, I'm going to take a punt, and you probably know it's because none of this is actually making any sense, just purely, I'm kind of glad it's not making sense, because this would probably be even more horrific to read. But I'm going to go on a limb here and say English is not this geezer's first language. I don't want to know what language this motherfucker speaks, quite frankly. I do know that he's learned how to speak fucking Thai, but because you have to, Electronically tagged. I don't want him electronically tagged. I want him fucking nailed to the floor. I want him fucking strung up by the nearest lamppost, like a fucking pinata. A pedinata, yeah. The warning states that up to 33% of preschool-age kids find masturbation while exploring their bodies. What do you mean, exploring their bodies? It's not... Explore... They're not Victorian... They're fucking... What the... They're not fucking Watson and Speak, are they? They're not Livingston exploring your body. Last night I was exploring my body. What's your hand is next to your dick. It's fucking not. It's kind of, it's like how you know God is real. Right? The banana, right? The dick, right? It all works. Right? At the time of school, he's still on, kids. At the time of school, as most of the children seem to have the biological capacity to derive pleasure from self-sexual stimulation. Jesus Christ, this geezer could fucking stretch it out. Pardon the expression. The capacity for self-sexual stimulation. Self-sexual stimulation. Studies... it's just studies now. Studies said that approximately 94% of teenage males and about 70% of teenage girls admit that they masturbate. Really? Who was asking them? Who was asking them, and why'd they write it down? Who is this Studies geezer? Dave Studies? Is that... Does the habit of both male and female are common? That's the sentence. Does the habit of both male and female are common? Yes. I know, mate. I know it is. You've just told me about that in-depth study that was done. by that geography teacher who disappeared one day. His house burnt down, right? So obviously it's common. Now, chapter 2, how to wank off a baby. Chapter 2, myths about masturbation. Here we go, masturbation myths. Some more myths, I know. Get Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman, or Jamie Hyman back on this one. Myth number 1, masturbation can damage the genitals. That's a myth, apparently. Masturbation can damage the genitals. Right? Take the sandpaper off your gloves. Right? Don't wrap it in razor wire. Don't have sex with the toaster and plug it in like you did last time. You know these are the rules. The myth is that masturbation can damage the penis. The truth is that men touches their penis, or woman rubbing their vaginas, or using vibrators is extremely unlikely to damage the genitals. That's not the same as a myth, though, is it? The myth was it can. And if something is unlikely to, that means that there's a chance that it could, which means it can. What if I masturbate with a chainsaw? Is that going to help? Your biggest risk whilst masturbating is a little rubbing of soft genital skin during I'm feeling I need a shower reading this. This is horrible. Who the fucking hell wrote this? It was written by a guy called J.R. Saville. No, Jimmy R.S. in collaboration with Rolf's Cartoon Club. Brought to you by Schofield Publishing. Myth number 2, masturbation causes mental health problems. Who's ever said that? It causes only one, guilt. That's not a mental health. What do you mean it could? Okay, first of all, guilt is not a mental health problem. Secondly, even if it fucking was, then that means it does. You can't say it's a myth that masturbation causes mental health issues, because there is only one mental health issue that it causes. You didn't even try with that one. And guilt isn't even a mental health, so why did you fucking say that? So not only have you just contradicted yourself, you didn't need to. Stop fucking children, mate. Can you lose your virginity by masturbating? It depends how good your aim is, quite frankly. No. Thank God, a fucking correct answer. Virginity is not something physical or medical. Well, I mean, medical, okay, I don't know, but physical, I mean, it's a little bit physical, isn't it? I mean, it's definitionally, it's not. If it's not physical, then what is it? Is it a state of mind? Can you have a metaphysical losing of your virginity? Because if you can, why did no one tell us when we were younger? It's a cultural idea. No, it isn't. It's a word we use to describe somebody who has not had full sex. That's it. It is a I can't remember what the fucking word. That's it. If you haven't had, somebody who hasn't had sex is somebody is a virgin, and a virginity. That's what it is. Whereas somebody who has had sex is a gangster. They're a pimp, right? They're a badass brother, right? That's what they are, right? Those we know that they're medical positions. Concepts like virginity are sometimes linked with the idea that your vaginal opening is covered by a membrane that is broken by vaginal sex. What? Concepts like the concept of virginity is sometimes linked with the idea that your vaginal opening is covered by a membrane that is broken, burst through it like a... Oh God, I hope this geezer fucking... this guy, please tell me this guy got caught and he's currently sitting in a cell on his own that's lined with rubber wallpaper, right? Writing stuff like this on the walls in his own shit. Is masturbation bad for you? We've already asked this, mate. That's what the first two questions were. Is masturbation bad for you? Masturbation is not bad for you physically, sexually, or emotionally. Financially, however, no, he doesn't say that. It's not bad for you physically, sexually, or emotionally. Not, by the way, sexually and physically are the same thing there. Unless it is something you simply do not want to be doing. Right. Okay. We've already had earlier, we had things that never happened. One, men who just cannot come. They just shag and shag and shag all night long. But they're too scared to say anything because they're worried that their partner, who they've been ploughing senseless for the last 12 hours, the fucking Coast Guard's been called out because she's fucking squirting everywhere, she's knackered, right? And she's going to make fun of you because you apparently are struggling to fucking blow your load because she's going to call you a bender. That never happened, okay? That never happened. No scientists have ever got loads of black and white geese and seen how far they fucking float. And also, no one has ever, in the history of mankind, right, fucking had a wank they didn't want to have, knowing it could give them clinical depression. It simply isn't fucking... No, right? We need to start having a list of this. This is going to have to be a running theme in the show. Things that... Right, the Chow Sonnen Award for things that happened, right? Masturbation cannot make you infertile. Why would it matter? You're wanking. They're not going to crawl away. It can. Masturbation does not cause acne. Whoever said it did? And it does not make hair grow on your palms. Stop. Right, play a record, Steve. Right. Is it harmful doing masturbation to excess? You just answered that. Masturbation is a common activity. It's a natural and safe way to explore... Stop saying exploring your body. Please stop it. Your mind's telling you no. But your body's telling you yes. Now I don't want to hurt nobody. But there's something I must confess. No, I'm trying to think of more lyrics. Fucking... Chapter 3. We're on Chapter 3. The Addiction. Masturbation becomes the addiction when a person just watched or listened about it from anywhere and starts doing it. This has been written by a child. I've just figured it out. This geezer fucking... This reads like a kid's written it. Masturbation becomes the addiction when a person just watched or listened about it from anywhere and starts doing it 7 times a week. 7 times a week? That's it. That's an addiction now, is it? 7 times a week. Those are rookie numbers, mate. You've got to up those numbers. I myself, I do it at least twice a day. By twice a day, I mean every half hour. Right. It's quite efficient, right? Nowadays, this is a concept. This is a cultural phenomenon within society. A nowadays person, aka a person who's alive today, a nowadays person is quite tilted towards masturbation. Tilted toward. Don't tilt when you're masturbating. If you fall forwards, could be a nightmare. Fucking snap your knob in half. Right? Don't want to put it in wrong, mate. No. This is like fucking 7-year-old Jay Cartwright wrote this. A Guide to the Minge by Jay Cartwright. Now the minge has two areas, the flaps and the hole. Now, sorry, I just saw the next sentence again. In a study in Chinese students, it have been found that in man, the testosterone hormone gets high level before masturbation, and to reduce that level, man used to masturbate. What? In China? You had to go to China to find this out. What do you mean? They found the testosterone was higher before a man masturbated, and the only way to get it down was for him to masturbate again. Wow! Brilliant. Now, who was the control on this one? Similarly, in women, the study said that the oxytocin hormone gets high level before masturbation, and to reduce that level, women would masturbate. What you're saying is, mate, is when you're horny, have a wank, and then you won't be. A study found that hunger increased just before people ate food, and after they ate food, suddenly they were no longer hungry. We still, nothing conclusive has been drawn yet. Our report will be ready in 5 years. Our NIST report. Chapter 4: How to overcome this addiction. Don't fucking ask questions, ho. What are you asking me for? You expect me? What am I going? I know as fucking little as you do, and he don't know fuck all either. He can't even fucking write. He can't even talk. He doesn't have basic fucking understanding of English. Chapter 4: How to overcome this addiction, because you are fucking all you're doing is wanking, fucking literally once every 24 hours. You're insatiable, right? Unstoppable. Put it down. If masturbation is becoming a problem, like, I don't know, it's happening every day when at school, when you're 3 months old. If masturbation is becoming a problem, then there are many ways a person can overcome masturbation. Number 1, avoid pornography. Oh, that's so easy. Avoid pornography? Avoid pornography. What do you mean avoid? Avoid it. Like, cross the road when you see pornography coming. For God's sake, hide your own, put a blindfold on and hide your pornography somewhere where you can't find it. And it's still, because obviously pornography is so easy to fucking, it's very difficult to fucking find pornography unless you've specifically got, it's not like it's everywhere. And when you're horny, mate, pornography is anything you want. Number 2, find a support group. I would rather die. I would rather cut my own knob off and shove it up my arse than find a fucking support group for this. I would rather fucking cut my own head off with a pair of blunt wooden cooking tongs. Over the course of I'd rather shove a wasp nest up my arse whilst eating rancid dog turds than fucking join a support group for people who are suffering from this devastating addiction of having a wank once a day. It's a crippling fucking issue. Find a support group. What are you? You're not supporting nothing. You get away from it. I wouldn't touch another man's dick if it was the last thing stuck out of a fucking quicksand pit. Right. So, number 3, stay active. Well, I'm not wanking anymore, so I'm a bit less active. Stay active. Yes, if you keep running, stay active. If you're always on the move. Number 4, spend more time with others. I'm in a support group, and guess what? All of the people in that support group have got the same as me, so I don't think necessarily we should all be left alone in the same room together. He'll come out looking like Sargon after he's been on a fucking campaign trail, and there's been a fucking blow on milkshakes everywhere. Spend time with others. Chapter 5. We're nearly at the end. Chapter 5, the 14 days rule. In this 14 days rule, we will talk about various things. Dude, there's one, this has been my fucking life now. All I know is this book. Could you please stop fucking, like, stop edging me, right? This is not the book to be edging me on this, right? This is fucking, in terms of rhythm of language, this is like getting wanked off by Edward Scissorhands, and I cannot stand it. Right? The 14-day rule, you can do the various things. These are things that you can do during these days and are able to overcome the masturbation. We just overcame the addiction. We came all over the addiction. We fucking left it there, drenched like a Roman candle melting in the fucking sun. Right? You just told us the 5 steps. The 5 pillars of fucking not wanking anymore. Right? Right, but no, this is the 14-day rule now. And you know what? And the helpful thing is, the 14-day rule has 8 steps. Take a resolution from today onwards that you will. That's not. Okay, that is just fucking. You're doing the rule. Why do you need to take an oath? Who are you swearing to? Who are you taking the oath to? Who's going to hold you to this? This isn't you're not in court. You're not going to get done for fucking. You're not going to get done for perjury or withholding evidence. Or fucking, or conspiracy to commit. Take an oath. Place your hand on your. Sorry. Number 2, start meditation and exercises that make yourself mentally fit and fresh for the whole day. Why? What is that? How is that going to help? You should consider taking up a new hobby, such as playing your favourite sport. Yeah. Do you know what my favourite sport is? Soggy biscuit. Can't do it now. Take up a hobby. I think you should take up an hobby, mate. I think you should take up an hobby. It should involve you, some bleach, right? A flight of stairs, a roller skate, a diesel engine, an exhaust pipe, and a fucking garden hose, right? My KY jelly, my jump leads, your bollocks, right? You should make casual meetings and dinner plans. Casual, not, no pressure, just casual. Casual meetings and dinner plans with your friends. What you're saying is just do everything you would have done anyway. Do you think you're going to sit there not talking to your friends? Like having a Renton in Train Spotting moment. Just some baby wanking on the ceiling, which obviously is something that this guy's fucking seen quite a lot of. A healthy diet provides new motivation. No, it doesn't. Because do you know how many foods look like dicks? All the best ones. In your free time, again, it's just all free time. In your free time, start reading novels and biographies of your own choices. Of my own choice. Wait, you're saying I should read books that I want to read? What? This guy lives in a world where people who don't want to masturbate force themselves to, even though they end up having a fucking anxiety attack. And now, he's telling me that there are people who buy books and read them, even though they don't want to. We call these people Brett Keane fans. Whenever you are at home, spend more time with your family members instead of imagining about masturbation. Mate, imagining about masturbation. No one imagines masturbating, mate. You imagine about things that you want to be masturbating. Masturbation is not the fucking goal. It's not like there's something special about the act itself. That's just the basic function. That's what you have to do. It's the end product, isn't it? And the stuff that. Do you have any? This is written by. Like, is this like early AI? Right? Really, seriously, was this like a paedophile AI bot? Like, install a porn blocking software onto your computer. Right? Here's the problem with these apps and software that block certain sites or that puts your thing on a timeout. I have the power to cancel it. Oh, and that's it, right? And finally, chapter 6, mercifully, we are at the end. Chapter 6. What will happen if you completely stop masturbation? Well, obviously, as we know, you explode. You just arcing jets of semen everywhere. When a person's masturbating time increases and come 2 to 3 times regularly in a 2 to 3 times, wild man, Jesus Christ, get a bucket and a mop. Come on, someone, please. 2 to 3 times a day. What do you think I am? Do you think I am a fucking shire horse? 2 to 3 to 2 to 3? I'm amazed you can walk, mate. You're going to die of dehydration. Are you just fucking? You have no bones. You just spunk. You're trying to float better, aren't you? Right, we get this. You will feel harmful effects on your body and private parts, so they decide to stop. Yeah, if your skin is bleeding from the constant friction, if when you walk past people, if you masturbate so much and cause so much friction that when you walk past people, even with your trousers on, their hair stands up on end, right? Just put it down. But I thought it couldn't cause any harm. First 2 to 3 days shall be extremely normal. That's not... What do you mean extremely normal? That's 9 wanks. You think 9 wanks? You think missing 9 wanks is fucking gonna be... Nutter. At the on days 4 to 5, the person will feel extreme body tiredness. They will feel extreme body tiredness, or as we call it, tiredness. You can't feel body tiredness. That's like saying my stomach's hungry. More days and more irritable symptoms. That's it. He does days 2 to 3, days 4 to 5, and then just goes, and other things that will happen is this. Your credit rating, your credit score will go up. That's an inevitability. You might struggle to get a car parking spot, right? Catch up won't taste the same anymore. You will feel the urge to masturbate in the exact specific times and activities that you used to. Well, obviously. A strange and unnatural sensation followed by an extremely odd what? Headaches, nausea, sleepiness, I will suffer from nightfall. What the fuck is nightfall? It's one word, nightfall. What do you mean? Isn't that when it's nightfall? That means the night's here. The night has fallen. It's dark. Where do you live? Fucking Iceland. Looking at the opposite sex and wishing you could have. One of the side effects and symptoms that you will suffer when you stop masturbating is you will look at the opposite sex and wish that you could have sex with them. Silly me. Maybe I come from a different culture, but I would have thought you were already on that train. That was a fucking given in the first place. Nightfall. You're there, you're desperate for a wank, it's getting darker. Quick, Dave, wank the sun away. Terrible impatience, lack of focus, forgetfulness, lack of focus and forgetfulness. And then the most coherent thing on this entire book is page 5, because there's nothing on it. Thank God that is over. That was one of that pound for pound, right? If we remove the fact it's free, remove the fact that ignore the fact that the geezer's not an author, ignore the fact that he's barely even fucking coherent, right? Ignore all that. That pound for pound might be the single worst thing involving words, right? Anything that's ever been written down by anyone ever, and I'm including toilet graffiti, right? I'm including people who write their name in shit on a fucking, anyone who's written their name in the snow, right? Nothing could possibly be that fucking terrible ever again. Like, that had no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Oh, right, folks. My name is Dick Coughlan, Brother Neuro, and I'm going to end it there because I hope, now just to recap, I hope you enjoyed it. The books that you read were, if in case you want to look them up, get them for yourself, make a great stocking filler. Not the masturbation one. Masturbation, the free ebook by some pedo. Myths concerning the female orgasm by geezers who don't know what a myth is. And, of course, Why Negroes Can't Swim by Davis Arini. And I think we can all take something away from this, mainly probably, you know, the fact that you wish you hadn't listened to this on the bus, right? But other than that, I will see you next time. Thank you for coming to this, the inaugural, I'm sure will be a series that could possibly never happen again, of Dick Coughlan's Misophonic Anonymous podcast. Thank you, good night, may God be less, and where there's no sense, there's some geezer wanking off a toddler.